Oh, I'm so sorry. It gave me a bit of a fright there. I hope you haven't been standing there very long. Okay, good. I mean, there's usually a bit of a lull about this time of day before, you know, in between the midday meal and supper. So this is often when I'm bustling about getting other things done. But that's no excuse for leaving the front desk unattended. I apologise for the wait. Welcome to the Jolly Rose. Well, I'm glad you made it in before the storm got too bad out there, eh? Now, what can I do for you? Are you here looking for a room or a hot meal? Perhaps some nice healing tea? Maybe all three? Excellent, excellent. Well, why don't you have a seat there? You dry yourself off by the fire. I'll be right back. Let me just get this way. Take care of you later. Let me get my ledger there. You said you were looking for a room, right? Okay, good. Here we are. Alright then. Let's see what I've got. I know I've got a few different rooms available today. Let's see, what day is it? Oh, let's see. They're checking out tomorrow. Ah, okay, here we are. Excellent. Now, if you wouldn't mind, I've just got a few different questions for my books here, just for the records. Okay. Now, whom do I have the pleasure of speaking to on this fine evening? Lovely to meet you. I'm Fiona. Fiona Rose. That's right, the Jolly Rose. Family owned for 4 generations. Something like that. Alright, and the last name for that? Oh, sure, just the first name is fine. And where is your original home? Where do you generally reside? Not here in Eifendel, I would presume, if you're looking for an inn to stay at. Whisperwind. No, never heard of it. Where is Whisperwind exactly? Oh. Definitely never been that far north. I don't think I've ever been further north than Elan. Yeah. I've heard that it's a bit wild out there. Is that true? In a good way. Ooh. That's enticing sounding. Well, it can't be all bad if it produces someone looking like you. Alright, and what would be your business here in Eifendel? Oh, gonna do a bit of shopping, are you? The Eifendel Bazaar. The finest collection of merchants and peddlers and other salespeople in all of the kingdom. At least that's what they'll have you believe. Oh, no, it's a very lovely place. It's rather elite, I suppose. Not somewhere that someone like me would frequent, let's just say that. But it's fun to imagine all the nice fancy things that one could possibly own. in a different life. Not in this one. Alright, and then, about how long do you think you'll be staying here? Oh, well, could you just sort of give me an estimate? 1 night, 3 nights, a week? Okay, why don't I put you down for 3 nights for now? We can always change it later if you need to leave early or extend that longer, but we'll start with 3 nights. How does that sound? Good. Well, I'm glad you came in when you did. I had fewer rooms left than I thought. Now, I have just a nice basic room. Nothing fancy. I can't promise that it's the finest accommodations in all of Eifendel. Far from it, I'm afraid. But it's warm. It's clean. And I do my best to make this place feel as homey as possible. Especially in such a big city like this. When people come to visit, it can be a bit overwhelming, I suppose. I wouldn't want anyone to feel lost. It's amazing what can be accomplished with just a warm smile and someone asking about how your day was. So, 3 nights for now. Alright, wonderful. There we are. Then your room also comes with a hot meal. I do breakfast and then I usually do supper as well. You're on your own for the midday meal. Although I do serve it here, but that just costs extra. But you get the 2 meals with your room. Of course. Not too many places in the city of Eifendel you'll find that offers free meals anymore. But like I said, I like it to feel like home. Put that back over there. There. Now, about that hot meal. I'm afraid supper is not quite ready yet, but you can wait down here if you like, or you can go up to your room. You know, I do have some lovely healing tea as well that you could have a cup of if you'd like. You know, I don't like to brag, but my great-grandmother actually used to be a healer in the city of Eifendel long ago when the elves were still here. Now, unfortunately, most of her knowledge was lost after the Great Separation, when the elves just took away all of those things, all of the magic and the knowledge from the poor humans that lived here. But I do still have a few herbs and other little plants in my garden outside that, well, they don't seem to die, even under my care. You know, my mother, she had such a green thumb, but I've got 2 black ones. We can never keep anything alive. But those plants of my great-grandmother's, they're still alive and well. Even with my horrible gardening skills. They still seem to be doing just fine. And they make the loveliest teas. Would you like me to show you some of them? Of course. Yes, of course. Let me go get them. Let's see. There we are. Alright, I've got a few different kinds here. Now, I may not be able to grow plants, but I do pride myself as actually quite good at drying and combining them to make some lovely teas. It helps having dear old great-grandmother's plants. So I've got a few different options here that we could choose from. Let's start with this one. Now this one is a blend of mostly florals. There's some daisy in here, some creeping buttercup. Now the creeping buttercup, you have to be careful how you harvest it, because if you get too much of it, or if it's not completely dried, it could actually make you quite sick. But if you dry it right, it is a lovely tea. It's a lovely flavour, and it also is a symbol of joy, of innocence, really. So there's some of that in there. And then, of course, the tea plant. All tea actually comes from the same plant, unless it's an herbal tea. Then that's a whole different category of its own. But white tea, black tea, oolong tea, grey tea, yellow tea, all of that actually comes from the same leaf. And you make the different kinds of teas by preparing the leaves in different ways. On how quickly you dry them, like under a bit of heat or more heat, and what time you harvest them. That's how you get the different colours and the different strengths. So this one is a very delicate white tea, which means that the leaves were heated very quickly so that it didn't ferment all that much. But then mixed with the lovely florals. It's a beautiful flavour. Very refreshing. Like I said, that creeping buttercup in there. It just sort of helps to heal the soul a bit. Bring back memories of happier days. Perhaps not worrying quite so much about the burdens of this world. So that's our first one that we could choose. But I also do have this one. Now this is just an herbal tea, which means it doesn't actually have the tea leaves in it from the tea plant. But it was quite lovely. This one is made primarily with lavender. Now lavender is quite a lovely herb, good for all sorts of things, including relaxation, sleep, healing anxiety and worries, all sorts of lovely things. Although, if you're not planning on going to bed quite yet, if you'd like to stay awake for dinner, this would maybe be a better one to have after dinner. That's a lovely smell though. Look at that little smell. Even just smelling it is very, very soothing. I think anyway. So that could certainly be an option for later. Although like I said, I maybe wouldn't suggest this right now. If you'd like to be awake for supper. Or I do have this one. This is one of my favourites. This one uses ingredients from my garden, but also a few that are a bit more exotic, I suppose. You've got rosehip. That's not all that exotic. Although again, the harvesting, you've got to get it just right in order to harvest it well. But rosehip can help to heal the skin, soothe any sort of inflammation or puffiness or something like that that you have either in your skin or in your system as well. It's just a very rejuvenating sort of plant. And then I've also got citrus in here. Balances out the floral flavours of the rosehip. And citrus is very revitalizing as well. And then this one also has hibiscus. Now hibiscus is a flower that's not native to our kingdom here. So that one I have to get specially ordered from someone. Actually, it's someone out in Peddler's Alley. She's quite the character. She sells all of these strange potions None of them really seem all that useful, but she does sometimes also sell raw ingredients and not just the potions, so I get my dried hibiscus from her. It's quite good, quite good. And hibiscus is a plant that is supposed to encourage beauty, energy. Again, sort of that revitalizing feeling. And it can also lead to an increase in confidence, as well as sometimes, if you're very, very lucky, visions of the future. Well, that's what Tamal says anyway. Oh, you've never experienced that, although I suppose that's not very surprising if I can't even grow some plants in a garden. Maybe someday. Maybe someday someone will unleash the secrets of magic again. For now, it's just the remnants of an old herb garden that doesn't seem to die. This one sounds good for you. Wonderful, wonderful here. Give that a smell. Nice and strong. Now when we brew it, it won't be quite that strong of a scent, but it's a lovely flavour, just very revitalising. Especially someone who's perhaps been travelling so much today to get to Eifendel. Oh, you weren't travelling today. Oh, my apologies, I didn't mean to assume. Peddler's Alley, eh? Well, that's a lovely place to visit on your way into the city. I hope you didn't get ripped off too much. Good, good. Now, most of the people on Peddler's Alley, honestly, are just completely misunderstood. There are maybe a few that would give you a run for your money, but for the most part, most of them are just people like you and me trying to make a living. It's getting harder and harder these days, but we do what we can, don't we? Alright. Let's get some of this tea, shall we? Alright, get a big spoonful in my little teaspoon here. Oh, not that much. You don't need to be able to close, little spoon. Don't be greedy. There we go. That should be a good amount right there. Alright. Let me grab you a cup quickly. There we go. Get some water from the kettle over here. Nice and hot. Always got a kettle on the fire. You never know when you might need some good healing tea. Especially with travellers coming and going so much. Now, while you're staying here, don't be a stranger. I mean, you don't have to, but I do encourage guests to come and be here in the lobby if you'd like. Got a lovely fire over there. It's always burning. And I've got some good reading material as well, if you'd like to just relax in the evening. Well, you know, we've got a minstrel staying with us right now, so sometimes he comes home and still has a few songs left in him before he heads off to bed. We'll take supper down here too. And then, of course, perhaps some drinks after supper, or maybe some of that lavender tea as well. Always something going on. Like I said, I tried to make this as homey as possible here. There we are. See that rich colour? sort of a reddish. That's lovely. Alright, I'll set this down right here for you. You can let that steep, and then when you're finished, you can just leave it there and I'll take care of it, alright? There we are. Just go ahead and put these back for now. Oh, you know what? Let me get you your room key before I forget, alright? I knew I was forgetting something. Let's see. There we are. Alright. Here's your key for whenever you're ready. You'll be room number 7. So it's actually, as you head up the stairs over there behind the fireplace, it's the first room right up the stairs. 1 through 6 are on the ground here, and then 7 through 12 are up there. So whenever you're ready, you can stay here and drink your tea for a bit if you'd like, but here's your room key. Just for whenever. Now, unfortunately, I do have to ask for payment up front, at least for the first night. I used to not, but as times have gotten harder here in Eifendel, unfortunately people have, well, they've gotten a bit harder too. I used to have a few people that would stay here regularly, just when they came into the city, if they were merchants or travelling guildsmen or something. But then they started taking advantage of the fact that I didn't charge them up front. And I would go into their rooms when they didn't come out in the morning, and I'd see their windows open. They had climbed out and they run away before paying. So, unfortunately, I do need to ask for payment. That's 4 gold tonight. I know it's a bit steep, but here in Eifendel, things are rather expensive. I guarantee it is the least expensive inn in the city. You're welcome to go around to others if you'd like to ask, but I try to keep my prices as low as possible, but I still have to make money. Still gotta have a business, you know. Good, thank you. I appreciate that. There we go. Some people make such a fuss about price. You know, I think because this is such a large trading city with all the fine merchants, that people get a bit accustomed to haggling their prices. But unfortunately, I can't go lower than that. Not in this city. See, the crown and the nobles, they keep pretty close tabs on how much money everyone makes. And if your business is not profitable enough, well, they'll give it to someone who they think will be more profitable. But kill my old dear great-grandmother again if this place fell out of family hands. So, girls gotta do what girls gotta do, eh? Alright, well, much obliged. Be right back. Have you gotten a chance to try the tea? Good. What do you think? Wonderful. Yes, it is. That's a very unique flavour, but that's quite lovely. At least I think that's quite lovely. Anyway, sounds like that storm is finishing up too. Good. Good for the land. That's what my father used to say. Rain's good for the land when you're not in the city, but here in the city it's just rather a nuisance. Especially when your herb garden won't grow anyway, so what do you need rain for? So you said that you're heading to the Eifendel Bazaar tomorrow, right? How much do you know about the Eifendel Bazaar? Not very much. Oh, that's not surprising. I mean, everyone knows it's the finest merchants in the land, of course, all of that, but it's actually quite strict. the people that they let it in. It's quite an honour to be able to sell there, and even shopping there is a bit regulated, let's say. Oh no, you should be able to get in. You may though. You may get in a bit easier if you're willing to bribe the guard just a bit. Now you didn't hear that from me. Eifendel is not that kind of city, according to, some people. But it definitely is that kind of city. If you are met with any sort of, hesitation, just slide a coin across the table and I think they'll let you in. Yeah, it's quite the to-do around here, the Eifendel Bazaar. I'd give you directions there, but I think it would be rather impossible to not know where it is in the city. There are so many signs all over the place leading you there. People from all over come. Although many people from outside Eifendel, they come thinking that they'll get, whatever it is that their heart desires. And then they see the price tag and leave disappointed, unfortunately. Like I said, that's not somewhere that people like me frequent. But that's not to say it doesn't have its merits. It makes the noble people of Eifendel, quite a lot of money, which makes them quite happy. Then they leave us poor folk alone. Oh well. I would start out bright and early though tomorrow if you're going to the bazaar, because there's usually quite a line to get in. And the longer the line gets, the crankier the guards get, so get there nice and early. And definitely be on your best behaviour while you're in the bazaar. See, there are all kinds of high-end merchants, and many of those high-end merchants hire their own security for their booth as well. So if you linger anywhere a bit too long, you might feel some very hard eyes on you. Just a word of caution. But that's for tomorrow, isn't it? At least now you get to rest a bit. Unless you had something else that you needed to do tonight. Good. Well, it's always good to be able to take a bit of a rest. Even when you're away on business, I suppose. You still need to rest. You still need to take care of yourself. Oh, speaking of, would you be interested in having any sort of reading material while you were here? Alright, great. Here, I've got some books over here. A few interesting titles that you might enjoy. Here we are. Now, I will have to ask you to return these before you leave. You can either just leave it in your room or bring it up to me at the desk here. Either way. I don't mind you reading them while you're here, but I'd like other future guests to have some reading material too. But we do have some lovely reading chairs over by the fire, so you are welcome to sit and read all evening long if you'd like. So this is the first option. This is a little book of short stories from all over the kingdom, really. Some fairy tales, some based on truth, some not. But it's quite fun. This is a nice one to read at a place like this because the stories are shorter and so you won't feel like you're missing something. Not finishing it until you're back. You can just read 1 or 2 stories. Or read a handful of them. Or maybe I'll get through all of them, but just in case. The pages are a bit brittle. This was actually one of my books when I was a child. Some of my favourite stories are in here. So, that's one that might be of interest to you while you're here. Otherwise, I do have this one. Not everyone finds this one particularly interesting, but this was a book of my grandmother's, and it's all kinds of different herbs and natural remedies for all kinds of ailments. Anything that was wrong with you, she could cure. From her plants, from her mixing things together. Not magic, mind you. Not magic, but just the inherent power of the land, I suppose. She was someone that was very connected to the land. Just like my mother. Must have skipped a generation, unfortunately. Well, at least I can still make tea. So this is more of a non-fiction, of course. Not everyone feels like sitting here reading about plants. But I find it rather interesting. And even if it's not particularly interesting, maybe it would just help you fall asleep. You are welcome to take these up to your room if you'd like a bit of reading before bed too. Like I said, just make sure that it stays on the nightstand and not in your bag before you leave. Okay. You don't strike me as the kind of person that would steal books, but you never know. Now, if this one about the plants and this one about the stories doesn't do it for you, we do have another option. This one. This is a history book about the royal family of Rowan. A very epic read, really, about tales of chivalry and greatness. And how the royal family has ushered in a golden age in the kingdom of Nadir. Yeah, it's quite wordy. To be honest, I've never even gotten through all of it. Well, I was supposed to read it when I was in school. I got through some of it. It's such flowery language. Going on and on about all of these wonderful deeds that all of these kings of old have done. Many of them more based in things like economy as opposed to great tales of battles and victories and that sort of way. Except, of course, for the War of the Races that led to the Great Separation. That's in here, I guess. The battle of humans versus elves. That part was interesting. That's near the beginning. The rest of it, unfortunately, is less interesting. But again, maybe there's, some merit in putting you to sleep. Or just, if you'd like to learn more. I'm not sure how accessible things like this are outside of Eifendel, but here it's pretty easy to get your hands on a book like this. You'd like to take this one? Bit of light reading before bed. Or perhaps you're researching the crown to see if there's a way to topple them. Like that's ever going to happen. The power lies squarely on people with money in this kingdom, unfortunately. The royals and their rich friends. Not much people like you and I can do. But we manage, don't we? Always manage. Well, here you are then. If you'd like either of those other two, feel free to come back and pick them up. I mean, unless another tenant has them, of course. Feel free to check in now and then as well, because there are a few books that are out too. So, you know, once they're brought back, you're welcome to take a look through those as well. Well, I hate to cut this short, but I should really go check on supper and make sure nothing's burning. Is there anything else I could get you for now? Okay, well, you enjoy that tea, enjoy that book, enjoy supper when it's ready in a bit, and if there's anything else that I can do for you while you're here, please don't hesitate to ask. Like I said, I like this place to feel like home. I've got a few old tinctures and things at my grandmother's here, so if you need any healing or anything like that, we could probably help you out a bit. But whatever you need, I'm here for you, alright? Alright. Well, I hope that you enjoy your time here at the Jolly Rose and your time in the city of Eifendel as well. Catch you later, most likely, but for now, well met.